There are some guys that are older, so the age guardrails that the Browns have put up. Take us through a couple of those that you think might be intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, we just wrote on this at the OBR today. We've done draft study for so long now. We've done it for like 5 months. Stephen Thomas, who's our guy who does at Browns Daily Mock Draft on Twitter, or at Browns Daily Mock, he's phenomenal and he covers it from so many different angles. And he's literally putting out a mock draft a day. If you're interested in that, he's putting out a detailed mock draft every day. And one of the things that we talked about all year is that dating back to Andrew Berry's time with Sashi Brown, into his time in Philadelphia and his first draft as a leading voice of picks, they have never really drafted anybody who has been 23 at the time of the draft. And the only one that we have seen 23 turned in their rookie season was Jordan Elliott last year, who turned 23 in November of his rookie season. So, like, anybody right now who's 23, we're kind of eliminating because we don't have any data that tells us they want that age of player. You know, you draft a guy 23, 24, by the time his second contract's here, you're looking at a guy 27, 28 years old. That's not great. You want the guys 20, 21, 22 so that they're 24, 25, 26 when they're getting a second deal. And you can get, the healthiest athleticism days of athletes are 20 to 29. You get those years and you spend wise money on those people. So we have analyzed it all year from eliminating those guys. I thought it would be fun that if we looked at players that the Browns maybe would bend those age guardrails on, would be fun. A couple guys that we talked about, Carlos Basham, who's a defensive end from Wake Forest, a lot of fun. He's 23 right now, could be a good player. I think he's a top 50 talent, but I think he's just a little older. So will they take him? I don't know. Richie Grant is a top-rated safety on Dane Brugler's board, but he's a guy who's 24 years old currently. So, like, maybe that guy's the most talented, but you got to think, Dave, they're playing college football at 23, 24 years old against 20, 21, 22-year-olds, so they should be dominating that age, right? So that's kind of like the balance. As an evaluator, you're trying to figure out is this 24-year-old going to impact right away, like right this second? So Jabril Cox, the LSU kid I mentioned earlier, is already 23. He started out at North Dakota State, redshirted a year because he injured his knee going into his senior year of high school football. So he's a little older because then he transferred over to LSU and played out his senior year there. That's a guy we've talked about, a guy late, a couple guys late, Zeke, or it could be pronounced Zech, Zech McPhearson from Texas Tech, is a fun corner that people haven't talked about a ton, but could be a mid-round target. Already 23 and some change, started out at Penn State for a couple years before getting to Texas Tech. So the thing that's fun is that, like, another guy named Jacob Harris, who's a 6'5" tight end, 220 pounds, a little light, but he's a 4.40 guy, 8 touchdown catches on 30 targets, over 600 yards last year. A freak, but like his story's crazy. He originally went to like Florida International to play soccer, wanted to then play football, so he went to Western Kentucky, dropped out of Western Kentucky, took a year off, coached JV football, walked back on at UFC the following year, UCF, sorry, not the Fight Club, but UCF Central Florida the following year. Got a scholarship after that first year, and he's like 24, almost 25, but he's a freak athlete. So there's just interesting stories. If you're interested in reading on some of these guys, which usually there's a reason why they're older, they didn't have a clean path where they played at 19, 20, 21, and now they're ready to be drafted at 2021. There's just some fun stories. So it's an interesting piece, and if the Browns do bend the guardrails, there's some fun players in there that could really help them.